What is going on, everybody? It is episode 140 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Please introduce yourself.
What is up, crisis actors? It's Mary.
And by the way, we have a guest host today who might not know what a crisis actor is, but introduce yourself, sir.
I gonna get canceled. I know what a crisis actor is. Hi, everybody. I'm Jamie Kilstein. I co-host. The name of the podcast, which I can't say because I can't curse. But hi, everybody. It's nice to be on a show here where I don't have to talk just about guns and abortion. I'm very excited to talk about movies.
Perfect. Yes, and not everything needs to be about guns and abortion.
Right.
Believe it or not, here at the castle, not everything is guns and abortion.
I'm very excited.
But we will be talking about surrogacy today.
Dang it!
Damn it!
I was like, as soon as I said we're not going to talk about guns, I'm like, but we are going to talk about something in the same wheelhouse, kind of.
Something
but that
else ghoulish.
All right, you know what, everybody? Let's just say pro-choice or pro-life at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
I'm not doing it.
1, 2, 3. I'm out.
Mary asked me that earlier. I'm like, we're not talking about this right now. We're not talking about this right now.
They're listening.
They are. We don't know. They could all be listening.
There was a chopper earlier.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We were going to talk about the fact that Todd Phillips is either insane or an insane genius, making Joker 2 a musical, and the possibility of hiring Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, which to me is, bear with me, but I think it could work. I think it's just crazy enough to work. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about surrogacy, as Mary mentioned before. She's very excited to talk about this. Yes. Yes.
Excited is a word.
Yes. Okay. We're talking about that, and then we're going to talk about Lizzo literally bending the knee when she should not have bent the knee to these people that are just going to complain and complain and complain. We got that. We got Podluck. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if we are ready, we'll just... actually, before we get into it, we are going to do something else because yesterday it was brought to my attention that this did not work when we did this.
Yeah.
There you go.
See?
It's
Yesterday,
party.
I was explaining to...
Yes. Yes.
I was explaining to Jamie.
The show rules.
Yeah.
Yes. Why are I on the show all the time? This is amazing.
We will. You can be on whenever you want. You're welcome
I
back.
will. Sorry,
You're
everyone.
like a baby at like a high chair, like,
This
yes,
is it. This is it. Do it again. Do it. More.
So that is for yesterday because yesterday's did not work. So we do apologize for that. When it basically what it is like when we reach a certain amount of super chats, it does that.
Yeah.
And we reached it, and we had a technical difficulty yesterday, so they get so early in the show.
This worked out for me.
For the people. So for the people, it's there's like 40 people in the chat right now. They'll have to let the people know later. Like, look, you guys should have been there right when the show started. You missed it. So all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So it says Lady Gaga in early talks to play Harley Quinn in Joker 2, and it's a musical, folks.
Okay.
Before you say no to this concept,
That's what I was gonna say.
I want to pitch this idea. Okay. Before we even read into it. So, first of all, if you've never seen Lady Gaga in American Horror Story, go watch that.
Yep.
Which one was it?
I don't remember. She played the Countess, I believe is the name of the character. I believe it was somebody in the check in the chat. Somebody would be able to.
Asylum or Coven?
It was not. It might have been Asylum. But, okay, so she can do this. She can act. And if they make it a musical,
Born, yeah.
Yes, and Todd Phillips was actually a producer on A Star Is Born, which is where that relationship stems from. But it would be very interesting if what we get is all the musical scenes to me is like, say she's his therapist, and they won't name her Harley Quinn. They'll likely go with the actual name of Harleen Quinzel, which is like her full real name. And then every scene where they perform music together is ultra violent with them harming people.
Right.
It would offset the people that are going to be weirded out by the concept of just turning such a serious character into something like a musical. But if all the musical numbers are accompanied by like hyper violence from the Joker, who is now officially entered into the farthest realms of his psychosis, with her either egging him on or him, because I have a harder time buying that he eggs her on into psychosis like in the canon, and more that maybe they make her into the one who actually makes it worse for him.
You really hit a weak spot for me because I was very against this for reasons I will still discuss. But one of my favorite, very niche tools that is used in a movie is violence to inappropriate songs.
Like
Well, do you remember Dirty Work, the Norm
Yes.
Macdonald movie?
Yep, absolutely.
When there's about to be a bar fight,
Yep.
and Chris Farley goes to the jukebox, and he's like, Rolling Stone, Street Fighter, G7. And they were like, you press G8, and you just hear, do you like pina coladas? And then bam, chair shot, and there's a whole fight to that. It's great.
Yeah.
So the idea of legit graphic violence to musical theater, like,
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
I was thinking "Crazy on You" by Heart.
So good.
So there's a bunch of songs that they could do that I think would work perfectly for
Are
this.
you proposing that it's all in his imagination as his girlfriend in the first Joker movie was?
Or shit? Yeah, no.
That's
Or
interesting.
like this new relationship would be a real one that mirrors the relationship between Harley Quinn and the Joker.
Perhaps the idea would be that they have regular therapy sessions, but his delusion makes him believe that they are a
They're
duo
like
of
partners
people.
in crime
Yeah.
in his mind.
But it's not actually that. Then she would have to be able to play both the straight-laced therapist as well as the violent psychopathic girlfriend, which I think she can do.
Now, I have a question, and maybe this is just because I'm all wrapped up in Timcast fever because I've been hanging out here for a couple of days, but could this possibly, and if it is, this is what makes me against it, besides my absolute love for original Harley Quinn, is could this be because liberals hated the first Joker? They said it was problematic. They said it was glorifying this,
I mean,
whatever.
they more hated the idea of it before it even came out.
For
The-
sure,
the-
100%. But actually, now that I remember, Todd Phillips, I believe, spoke out against cancel culture because when I first saw this article, my thing was, I'm like, oh no, you're not doing this to appeal to the woke people who were mad at the first Joker by making it's a fun musical where Lady Gaga's like, sorry, the first one was problematic. Like,
don't
that's
think
what would.
Well, the name of the running title for it is Folie à Deux, which I believe actually does translate to a shared delusion between two people.
I mean, a dark musical I
yeah.
could be totally down for.
That's what I'm saying. And
I
then,
don't know. I hate musicals so much.
We rag
that
on them
I'm
all the
not
time.
Sure, I could make it through that.
I thought you were watching Hamilton downstairs before. Is that
Hamilton?
not? Yeah, is that not your vibe?
I wasn't watching
I'm
Hamilton.
kidding. You do not take me as someone who would be watching
never.
musical theater downstairs.
Well, honestly, like
I stand by Hamilton.
it would take something really, really good for me to like overlook that. But maybe you're onto something, Brett.
they have to find a way to drag it back into the serious. And like,
Yeah.
to be honest, with as many iterations, one of the comments that I read was like, with as many iterations as they've done of the Joker now, they're surprised that weirdo Hollywood people haven't already turned it into a musical before this. So if they're going to do it, they're going to have to do something very interesting to actually keep people involved.
Yeah, some people didn't like in the first place that they went off script from the comics and just adapted it into this story about a normal man.
Did you guys like the Buffy musical?
I never saw the
Never
I
Buffy.
never
saw
saw
that.
it. Everyone said they like loved it, and it was so good. And I don't remember if it actually was or if it's one of those things you go back and watch and kind of cringe.
Probably would go back and cringe.
When was
but
this
I
made?
assume.
It would have been a while ago.
Buffy, I'm old.
The Buffy is you were but a twinkle in your parents' eye when Buffy was popular.
And I was 46 already.
Yeah. So it says making
so
Joker
tired.
2 a musical is a bold stroke from Phillips, who struck it gold at the box office with $1 billion worldwide gross. Remember, that is without a Chinese release from the theaters, which is still fascinating to me, given the fact that I don't really remember if somebody could correct me as to what it was that China didn't like about it. Other than just the fact that it was like, was there like something to do with, was there gay romance in that movie that I'm not remembering? That's usually why China and overseas tend to cut these things.
I love that. That's the only question they ask. It's given to the president of China. Is
It's
it gay?
that, or if you feature the Epoch Times in one of the shots.
I did shows in China, in like Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Beijing years ago, and you go to Tiananmen Square and it's just nothing. There were no signs. There's no anything. They're like, eh. But even weirder than that, when I was going to look up directions, when you Google it, when you were in China with a like Chinese IP, it literally doesn't mention the conflict. It's just like a square that is located in China that is a place.
Very interesting.
It's so wild. Yeah, I've never actually been in a place where I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like.
It would be like going overseas to like where was the atom, or not the atom, like to Hiroshima, and they're like, yeah, nothing happened here.
Yeah. This is a field. All right.
Like that that doesn't actually make much sense.
Yeah, it was very weird.
So it's I do take issue with the fact that it says here that they framed his number one villain as a loner anti-hero. I don't really feel that he was portrayed as an anti-hero in this movie. I guess like the public could have seen him that way, but I
think he was
framed
that
I didn't
way.
feel like the movie wanted you to see him that way. I felt like being a character study, the idea was more to show what society does to a person. I don't think that they tried to frame his actions as heroic.
I think that's what the left tried to kind of say
Yeah.
it was, where it's like it's glorifying him. I'm like, I don't think it is, guys.
There was a really good meme that I saw today. It says like 1988, they create the Joker by dropping him into a vat of acid. 2019, they just drop him into society, and that just creates the Joker, and that's how you make the Joker now. It's
So
just,
Society
true.
is our vat of
Well,
acid.
he is glorified in it. It's just you're seeing him glorified through his own
lens.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But people don't understand storytelling.
This is also a
anymore,
great
so-
example. When you read how much money it made, it's, I believe, still probably only hanging out with like progressive folk around then. And all I saw were tweets about it being problematic, about why we don't like it, blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly you just snap into the real world. And it's like, oh, it did great, and everyone loved it. And he's
Yes.
doing a sequel,
A
and everyone's
normal
excited.
movie.
In the
Yeah.
in the media wanted something bad to happen so badly.
Oh,
Like,
they were almost like rooting
they
for
were
a shooting to
salivating.
happen. It was weird.
They were salivating. There was movie theaters where you had to have like where they had cops, armed cops at the gates.
Yeah, I forgot about that, dude.
And then they were really bummed out when nothing happened.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that there would be a funny way they could do casting if they weren't to do Lady Gaga. I don't know if either of you saw Death on the Nile. Did you?
I
No.
didn't.
You did? Okay. So there's an actress in there named Emma Mackey.
Okay.
Who plays a crazy woman who looks just like Margot Robbie. And it would be really funny to cast somebody who looks just like Margot Robbie but isn't Margot Robbie to
Yeah.
play crazy Harley Quinn in a non.
So that's my follow-up question. What happened to her?
It wouldn't fit in the timeline because one is considered DC Extended Universe, which is a different. This is not connected to that timeline.
So she's still gonna be Harley in like Suicide Squad and everything like that.
I think that just
I think they've kind of done away with that now that Birds of Prey
Failed.
failed.
It did fail, didn't it?
But no,
Yeah.
and Suicide Squad 2 bombed, which broke my heart
She's
because it was
moving on
actually
to
really, really
greater
good.
It was good.
pastures.
Well, I think she's still signed on to like she could still do like
She
one
could,
more.
yeah.
But I don't think that
I don't think that would be a good decision.
her money, or also she's worth so like she's going to cost more and more and more
Right.
and more because she's such a high status actress that you get discount Margot
and
Robbie and Emma
paired
Mackey.
her with- they paired her with a different iteration of the Joker.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense to have Jared Leto not be there. Though
Yeah.
they could do the three Jokers storyline in this, which is a comic from Jeff Johns that came out a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's multiple versions of the Joker and only one is the real Joker. But I don't think that's what they're going for here.
No.
But as a musical, I think that there is a lot that could be done here. You just have to make it really violent.
You
and
have to make it dark,
almost
yeah.
get Tarantino to just do all the music scenes.
Yes.
It would be glorious.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
Inglorious.
So don't. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, Inglorious Jokers. That's
Yes.
what they can
Yeah,
call
there
it.
you go. We nailed it. You guys can't take that. It's ours.
Don't discount this idea out of pocket just because it sounds ridiculous. Another one of the comparisons is that if the first movie was supposed to be like Taxi Driver, that this would be like New York, New York, which is also a Scorsese movie, which was a musical with Robert De Niro. So it's possible. Also, they could bring Robert De Niro back as like a figment of his imagination.
Oh my God.
Who like goes around and like narrates his life for him.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of interesting stuff they could do.
Can
there.
I also, before we click out of this article, this is off topic and not having to do with the Joker, but it's on Most Popular for Variety, and I just very quickly want to say a headline is James Corden.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
let's do it. James Corden heading back to UK after Late Show concludes in 2023, and I've never been more proud to be an American.
Oh God.
I'm not for renditions
Go
except for
back.
James Corden. I'm like, we send a hole in Syria,
Send
the
him
UK.
back.
Yeah, send him back, send him back, send him back.
See, I'm like that with most late night show hosts. Like every time Jimmy
But
Fallon.
he's especially annoying.
Let's stop traffic in LA to do a song. If I were in the car,
was he promoting Cats?
I think so. Oh, I think so.
Like that's even worse.
I would have run over everybody.
Anytime Jimmy Kimmel cries, like I get tears of joy.
Yep.
I have like a sympathetic reaction where whatever's making him cry is making me extremely happy.
He cries so often. He's like the Jordan Peterson of late night.
Oh that would make him the Kevin.
Sorry, that was a lot.
It's not obvious. It would make him the Kevin Smith of late night, because Kevin Smith watches a trailer for anything and just starts bawling his eyes out.
Did you see the trailer for what is it, Marcel the Shell?
No,
I cried. There's a 2-minute brand new trailer that they played for Everything, whatever that movie was. That was
Everything
great.
Everywhere All at
Yeah,
Once.
which was awesome.
Yeah.
And the trailer, it's Marcel the Shell, and it's a little shell, and he's trying to find she's a little shell family, and that's all I will say. I choked up.
I don't cry that often during shows. I still contend that a lot of like the excitement around, like somebody was like, there was tweets about like, I can't believe they're finally making a Blue Beetle movie. I'm like, yes, you can. No, you're lying.
My excitement is beyond rational thought.
I'm like, no.
I'm just a sucker for like cliches. Like you put swelling music and a cliche, and someone's
Brett, did
dog
you cry
comes.
at Top Gun Maverick?
I mean,
I did.
Almost.
Yeah.
You almost cried. I almost cried.
Yeah,
I
and we all know the
I didn't
scene.
even like it that
we
much.
all know the line that was said, and I totally choked up.
It's a beautiful movie.
It's beautiful.
It's like, but like that's rare. Like I'm one of those people where if like you said, swelling music. We've been watching Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, and one of my biggest problems is like they're like completely failing at the score. Like there's these scenes that should have like Kenobi with really heroic music on, and it's just bland.
Yeah,
music.
you can't do that. I know people had problems with Lost, but one of the things I loved so much about Lost is they nailed that.
Yes.
I remember there was the second to last episode of the first season where Sawyer and Jin, they were going off to try to find help, and they built a raft, and enemies became friends, and they're literally sailing out, and the dog goes after them because the dog wants to come, and they're like, come back, and the orchestra music hits, and I am just sobbing. Here's what you got to do. For any guy listening who wants to cry more to movies, do what I do. Do MMA. I've done the most manly thing possible so I can be a complete woman in every other facet of my life. I can sob uncontrollably and then go and just choke people and punch them in the face, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm a dude.
I wonder if Lost was the last time Damon Lindelof did anything good. Abrams usually is pretty good about picking his composers.
I remember
Did you not
the
like
finale.
Leftovers?
The finale of Lost was so emotional to me. Like the music was
Lost was.
perfect
The music is
in the
perfect.
last episode of Lost.
Who was the composer? Does anybody in the chat know who the composer was? I'm looking it up on IMDb.
Because actually, the music in Leftovers, also Lindelof, was great as well. It was very different, but it was great.
Lindelof is also one of those people. Thank you.
Yay.
Lindelof is one of those people that just, he got a bad rap now, and a lot, him, Lindelof, and then who's the dude who did
When did he get a bad rap? God, I've missed so much.
Who did the Watchmen TV show?
Lindelof.
Was it Lindelof? Okay.
Because people love that, I thought.
I was not personally a fan, but I'm also like, and I should have been the target audience for that because I'm not one of those people that evangelized the Watchmen movie, whereas a lot of people love that movie, and I'm like,
really?
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was not anything completely special to me. Somebody would have to find whoever did the score. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like I think back, if we're looking for more recent and even like less intense examples of movies, would be when Chris Evans as Captain America prevents the helicopter from leaving in Captain America Civil War.
Yep.
And the music swells literally as he grabs it, and he's like,
I'm getting chills.
He'd been working out for like 6 months for that shot.
Yep.
And so there's like his arms could be super pumped up.
Yep.
And like that's a perfect example of when they can manipulate you with music.
Every
It's a
time they
beautiful
go
thing.
Avengers Assemble, every time like, oh, here comes the backup, and the music comes, and it's like, it's Wakanda, or like whoever's coming, like, oh, it's incredible.
It's designed to elicit a strong emotional response. from you.
Manipulate me, Hollywood. Manipulate me to my core.
One thing that I will give Top Gun Maverick credit for, even though it is a little bit off topic, is that they held to their guns and they didn't use Danger Zone more than once.
Yeah.
If you watch the original Top Gun, that song's in there 3 times.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's the most excessive 1980s thing ever.
funny.
Like it's like in the beginning,
so funny.
And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And then there's just a random thing of him like on his motorcycle later. I'm like, it doesn't really fit here, but you know,
like started from the top. It's like the John Mulaney Salt and Pepper Diner story. Yeah, that's wow. Well, so I went into Top Gun. I didn't see the first one.
That's even more impressive that it was that emotional for you.
I loved it. I got the gist of it, but I just watched the preview and I was like, man, I bet I can get it. I'm also like post-breakup, so I'm just being crazy, where I'm like, I'm going to go to a movie by myself to prove I'm independent. Like, I'm just a mess right now. And so, yeah, I just had a feeling, and I kind of got the gist of it. But when I saw the reviews, I was like, I bet this narrative, it is just going to be such a well-constructed, this is exactly what you want in a movie type movie, that I'm like, I bet I can get everything from it. And sure enough, I did. Like the piano scene where like he puts it together, that's all you need right there.
What was interesting is like I had seen the movie a bunch of times, and I was trying to think when we were there, like, who the hell is Penny? I couldn't think of who the hell Penny was. Like, and then I remember that she was the admiral's daughter that was mentioned at the very beginning of the first Top Gun, and that didn't register with me, but it's still.
But it was still a perfect love story in that. Yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. It's like tell the movie like it can be seen by someone who doesn't know the first one. Because even good 80s movies that I really do enjoy, I do have trouble going back and watching. Like I was just flying to Hawaii, and I was like, oh, Beverly Hills Cop, which is a good movie.
Yes.
But I just turned it on, and right away in the action scene, you just hear like sexy saxophone 80s stuff, and I'm like,
it was the 80s.
I can't do it. So I was like, I felt like if I watched Top Gun in all of its cheesy glory, I actually wouldn't have been as excited to see the new one. So I just went in blind and loved it.
I just like, to me, it's just like it's like in the original Top Gun, it's like it's the Cold War, it's Russia, it's like nothing's changed because Hollywood is now afraid to make anyone the bad guy but Russia. Yeah. So in Top Gun 2, they just made generic villain number one who looks like Cobra Commander.
Yeah, it's like we're at war with this mountain.
They're like, whereas like it's the enemy. Yeah. I'm like, I feel like they need more information than that.
Just give him a wave. Yeah.
Super chats. There were super chats.
Waffle Sensei said the story of the Joker is that when society drives you to the brink, you should K-word your bullies, and that it's a good thing. China can't let that get into their citizens' minds. That movie was dumb.
He's right that was what that China was like. That was like, plus that was like right when Taiwan or like when everyone, all the stuff with was it Taiwan that was rising up at that time? The protests in
I mean, that conflict is ongoing. But
or I'm sorry, Hong Kong. There's
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong protests were going.
Yes.
Hong Kong protests were going on that time. The one and only time I've ever made like any type of like I got crap for it. I made a shirt that said "Freedom for Hong Kong," and somebody's like, ugh. It's like, remember me who hates activism.
The first time
you learned your lesson.
I was like, this is why I hate activism.
This is why I'm apathetic and nihilistic.
Even if I believe it, I still regretted doing it.
That's the move. I mean, you're not wrong. Also, the first half of that super chat before they mentioned China, I was like, whoa, this person is plotting revenge. And then when he brought up China, I was like, oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
He's like, your enemies must be taken care of. I was like, where is this going? I hope he likes me.
I wouldn't have read that otherwise. Clint Torres said, send him back, based. John Lee said, I could be wrong, but I thought Harley was the only one dropped into acid. Did the Joker fall into acid too?
In the 88 movie, right?
Yeah, in the first movie, I thought so.
In the first movie, yeah.
In the old person one.
In the Suicide Squad movie, it was just
he pushed
Harley in because that's love, man. You know, that's love.
Clint Torres said, sorry I've been away, people. My stupid job takes up an unholy amount of time, but I need to make it rain. It's a vicious cycle. Thank you, Clint Torres. We really appreciate
Mary
it.
especially
hang in there, buddy.
The term unholy, right? Is that a problem?
An unholy amount of his time.
Yes.
Hobbit said, music is incredibly vital to hit my emotions. The end of the Fellowship of the Ring chokes me out 20 years later.
Yes.
Other than that, I'm affected most by epic moments of sacrifice and hope and despair.
Yes.
One of an interesting example in television that people might not. There's a composer named Blake Neely who did all of the Arrowverse shows, which are objectively awful shows that have fantastic musical scores when the heroes do heroic stuff.
That's what you need.
Because he also, I mean, he did a bunch of other stuff too. He did a show called Blind Spot, which has he has this.
I watched that. The girl, wait, is that the FBI one?
Yeah, with Jamie Alexander.
She saved my life in L.A.
Jamie Alexander?
Yeah, I knocked myself out, and I was walking like bleeding, like covered in blood, and she pulled up.
No way.
And she stopped, and she was like, "Do you need help?"
That's amazing.
And she took me. We went to a vet. We went to a vet in LA just to like just see if I needed stitches or like patched up, and I was super woozy. And I just remember like walking into the vet. I was like, I like you on Blind Spot. Hey, doggies. And like, I was sitting down. I was like, do you have crackers? Like, as I was just, God, I haven't thought about this. It just came back to me like a flashback. And yeah, they just like compressed my head and stuff like that. And we actually had a mutual friend. So I got to like send her a thank you letter that like.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But
she's a Marvel actress. She played Lady Sif in the Thor movies.
Right. Yeah, she rules.
But she's great. And that show it's one of the few times I've downloaded like a random television score, because they score the whole show, right?
Yeah.
So characters have their own beats. And there's a character in like season 2 and 3 named Roman who plays her brother, who has this incredible score. He's not even a good guy, he's a bad guy, but it would be a fantastic good guy score.
And that show also had really good, if there's good action choreography, I will sit through a bad generic show to get to the one fight scene with the dope music.
It's also really funny because that's one of those shows where like nobody could actually be in the FBI if it was like that, because it's anxiety inducing conflict. Like they're always in a gunfight.
Yep.
I'm like, no. I was like, you don't actually get into a gunfight every day in the FBI.
My PTSD is fighting with my other PTSD, and it just gets me to go forward.
That has one of my favorite actresses, Ashley Johnson. She's one of the people from the show Critical Role on the D&D show.
Yes.
Critical Role, and she plays the tech person on that show.
Okay.
She's great.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I have a couple guilty pleasure action shows. Now they're all on HBO Max, but that show Banshee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Again,
Anthony Starr.
Yeah.
He's in The Boys.
Who's very similar. It kind of
to Sullivan Stapleton. I thought they were the same person.
100%, bro.
Yes.
I did too. And then there's another one that. Warrior's actually good.
Yep.
Which same dude who made Banshee. Banshee, if you guys haven't watched it, semi-problematic, and it's just sex and violence. It is. Anytime I want to just rebuild my manhood, I watch Banshee like all the way through again. And then there's another one with the dude, with the actual guy from Blind Spot, and it was like a Navy SEAL one or something.
And he was like, is that the one where he had there was like really heavy nudity in like?
Yes, it was like it was like MI5 in the CIA or something like that. We're teaming up.
It wasn't an American show though. It was like an Australian show.
No, but it was also on HBO Max or Cinemax.
Bosch is a good show to watch if you have. It's a slow burn, but it's
I heard it's a slow burn,
similar to that, but that's based on books and novelizations, which is a little bit more story driven, like The Wire was.
Yeah.
Or if you go back and you watch The Shield is the other one. I've been telling people to go back and watch.
You go back and it's still good.
It's so
I love that you guys are just like completely broing out.
Yeah.
Right
we're off. We are
like
we're
I
a little
just knew
off
this
topic.
would happen.
Yes.
I had to start pulling the string.
You lit up because the reason she asked me to do the show was because I started going on, I assume the exact same rant you went on after watching Top Gun, and she was like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Come on the podcast."
See, if I could have my ideal podcast, it would be just doing stuff like this where you wouldn't actually be able to give it a name because you'll go off into like 90 different directions and you wouldn't be able to have a target audience because you go to like, we just mentioned like 12 shows from like 2 decades.
Can we, like, when I start doing more here, can we just like make new things? Can we do something where we just watch like 90s action movies and just like mystery science theater?
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Things have been talked about.
Okay. Yes. All right.
There was another super chat in there.
Soci Hobbit says the Arrowverse music is amazing. I stopped watching the shows years ago of how bad they were, but I still have some of the tracks on my phone.
Yeah, every time Oliver Queen gets to enter a room and look cool, the music is freaking awesome. So, all right,
we have a couple more.
I also assume that money shot.
Yes,
was for us doing the Mystery Science Theater.
Yes,
like best of the best and only the strong.
Clint Torres said, "I show up here for the sex, violence, and illicit drug use." Still waiting.
We'll have to get like a warning a parental advisory sticker.
Because I'm gonna be honest, now that I'm hanging out and moving here, that will happen a lot.
Curtis Terry said, "Mary, what about Rocky Horror Picture Show or Phantom of the Opera?" I've been meaning to watch Phantom for a while. I don't know about Rocky Horror Picture Show though.
But Mary, I think you're kind of like me because you seem like a very like logic-based person. So I'm a sap. I cry to music. I like cheesy things. Blah blah blah. I convinced myself that I was like, I've got to like musicals. It's all the stuff. And I went to see the new West Side Story, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I think that musicals avoid emotion because every time that you're watching a dialogue, it gets interrupted by the sequence.
The idea of me and you about to fight, and then I start snapping while I'm really afraid you're gonna stab me. It's just, it kills it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if like they do it as a thing in Joker, since we can pull this around to wrap this up.
Well, that's how that works.
Is that like it's like he's like singing while he's like stabbing someone?
That's how you make it work.
Like you could make that work if it's done very, very well.
Is that like a dark comedy angle for it?
I thought my life was a tragedy, but it's actually a comedy.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's what it would be.
I get it.
All right, and then Curtis Terry also said that he was just referring to musicals. I've never been a big musical fan. I know that La La Land was very popular, and that's why they.
I watched that one.
I like
the ending. Just really
the ending bummed me out. Yo, agreed. Hard agree.
I think the big problem though is that La La Land was an original, and a lot of the other ones that are failing are not originals. They're remaking
I appreciate
stuff.
anything being original anymore.
Oh, again, speaking of West Side Story, the reason I wanted to see it is because of the lead, Baby Driver.
Yeah,
that's an example of
Ansel Elgort.
Yes, it's not Baby
Thank
Driver,
you.
not a musical, but the score was like that opening scene in Baby Driver, completely to the John Spencer Explosion song,
which is now
it was choreographed like a musical, but it's not a musical.
Which is now problematic because Kevin Spacey is a creep, and you can't.
I guess I can't like that movie anymore. Sorry, guys. Forget I said that. Bleep out Baby Driver.
You're not allowed to like Seven or anything anymore.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Spacey's a creep.
Well, at least I still got Lizzo.
Well, actually, before we get to Lizzo,
that was a bit of a teaser.
We will save those super chats. We'll move on to the next one for now, and we'll do those at the end of the next segment.
Okay.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about surrogacy. If you thought that was a weird segue, it was a weird segue to make. So it says this is an opinion article from someone named Mary Monahan. I don't know who that is.
No idea.
No idea. So it says, opinion. Surrogate wombs are becoming new and a new and ghoulish celebrity status symbol. Do you want to take us through this one, Mary?
Go to work using the word ghoulish.
Let's do it. I guess.
We use the word ghoulish a lot here.
It's so good.
Because a lot of times when we're talking about stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. It makes me feel ghoulish.
You ghoul.
It's
perfect. And I was like, what adjective should I add?
It's a great word.
It's a great word. It's
like
when
for ghoulish.
Thank you.
It's like when Tim says beclowned.
What he says?
He says
I don't think I've heard
he says
that.
beclowned.
All right.
It's when you make a fool of yourself. Like
That's
it's,
great.
it's fantastic. That's a fantastic word.
And it describes this practice perfectly.
Exactly.
So, entertainers, I've noticed, are having children via surrogate and openly talking about it more often. And this was just on my mind because over the weekend, people started debating about Kim Kardashian's pay rate for her surrogate back in 2019.
Which was like $45,000 for 10 months.
Yeah, which is kind of an extremely low salary for renting out your body as an incubator for
I feel like that's how much
celebrity.
she would pay for like a Met Gala dress.
It's how much she pays for maybe like half a Birkin.
Yeah.
So
do you know what is that a bag?
It's the Hermes Birkin.
Okay.
Some of them are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
we're dudes, so
the
I don't know if you knew what a Birkin bag was.
No, but because I am a dude, I pretended I did.
Yes.
I was like, got it.
It's like,
what?
It's not like Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
I'm here to educate you on fashion.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
TMZ reported that she paid her surrogate mother $45,000 in 10 monthly installments of $4,500 each, and she offered her an extra $5,000 for each additional child that may implant. So when you do
just
this,
in case he gets a little
ghoulish.
rambunctious.
yeah,
Ghoulish.
I know. When you do the IVF procedure, it's up to random chance whether or not you'll have multiple embryos implant.
You get a bonus if that load was strong.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's actually why her two youngest children who were born via surrogate, named Chicago and Psalm are twins, but born a year apart.
Ghoulish.
I mean, I literally thought, and this is maybe me very naive, I thought the only reason people use surrogates was if there was something where they couldn't have a baby on their own, or the couple can have a baby on their own, so then they would get a surrogate.
Yeah, Kim had her first 2 kids, normally, but she said that she had complications. She said with her first kid, she had preeclampsia. Then her second, she had a different condition where her uterus got stuck or something.
But now they're not doing it for that reason. Now they're doing it simply for vanity.
If you're doing it for vanity, then
I don't know about Kim in particular, but these other people that we're going to mention as well. And also, I thought I'd mention the surrogate was insured $4,000 if she lost her reproductive organs somehow in the process.
That's it?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take the money, but that's because I need it.
Also, I want to point out that you pointed out that the
agency that matched them with her surrogate earned more combined than the surrogate earned.
How
they
do
got
corporations even
68,000.
win in this case?
Which makes no sense whatsoever, given that most contracts like that, wouldn't the agency get a percentage of what the
Yes.
In any
person
normal
gets?
industry where you have an agent that matches you with a client, they wouldn't be making more.
I mean, at least tip her out, right?
Yep.
So comedians even do this thing where if they bring a well-known comedian to open for them, or if they bring a headliner where it's hey, I'm going to bring Mary to open for me. The club pays openers $400 because it's awful, but Mary has a following. She's my friend.
Yep.
At the end of the week, I'm going to give her another $500 and I'm going to cover her hotel. That's
Thank
just,
you.
I'm just doing that to be cool or respect you. It's
Yep.
Kardashian, you could do hey, I know it's only $4,000, but you just brought this miracle into here's an extra $5,000. I want you to be compensated. You're literally birthing a baby. You're saying bye to a baby. You're going to see this baby on, the E network when it becomes addicted to some kind of pills in high school.
Ghoulish.
Here's $5,000.
Elon has all his kids through surrogacy. Now, I always just assumed he made all those moms all those surrogates millionaires.
Yeah.
I literally just assumed that
Sign this,
they
keep
made
your mouth shut.
have a child
So-
for me and you will never work it a day again in your life.
That's sort of what I
That's
would-
People were shocked by, compared to Kim Kardashian's worth,
Which is
how
1.8
little she was
billion.
paying the woman who was carrying her unborn children.
That's
But the
wild.
problem here is that it's likely through the agency, so it's a contract that's negotiated beforehand.
So
Yeah.
tip
So
her
there's
out.
no wiggle room, and she's gonna be well, I don't want to pay more.
So then-
And
anyways.
it's not so much that it's a pay dispute. We're saying that it's kind of ghoulish that she's trying to rent women out as incubators
Yeah,
in the first
yeah,
place.
yeah.
But that's really controversial and spicy. So
The Jamie
I don't
Chung
know.
one was the one that
Jamie
was the
Chung,
most
let's
creepy
talk
to
about
me.
Jamie Chung.
Well,
too.
before you talk about her, can I just ask you, do you know what kind of women these agencies are where are they getting these women? Are they
Are
they
you-
preying on poor women?
Are you
Are
fertile?
they
Are you
I
fertile?
mean,
it-
technically anyone can do it if you're in good health.
Well,
and
because
fertile.
because it's kind of like a hacky joke about guys who donate sperm. It's just you're desperate. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
donate sperm. But obviously that is much easier for a guy. Here's
Right.
a magazine, see you in 5 minutes, as opposed to you are going
egg
to
donors and
yeah,
they're
or
they're literally donating their womb.
carrying a baby for
Yeah.
9 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
So Jamie Chung did it for reasons unrelated to her health.
Thank you.
She told in an interview with Today, she explained that she chose surrogacy so that she could continue working through becoming a parent. Did not want to lose career opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
She said, people probably think, oh, she's so vain. She didn't want to get pregnant.
No, we don't think you're vain. We think you're ghoulish. Read the article.
Ghoulish!
Read the article.
And it's much more complicated than that. For me personally, I'll leave it at this. I worked my ass off my entire life to get where I am. I don't want to lose opportunities. I don't want to be resentful. I was terrified of becoming pregnant. I was terrified of putting my life on hold for 2+ years. In my industry, it feels like you're easily forgotten if you don't work within the next month of your last job. Things are so quickly paced in what we do.
So the kid is less important than her work.
Exactly.
That
And
is
it's like,
ghoulish.
You shouldn't have
I
a
don't
kid
want to
then.
put my life on hold. But pregnancy isn't the only thing about becoming a parent that may put your life on hold.
Also,
you actually have to raise the child after the child is born.
Yeah, which I assume she's not doing well. If you find yourself saying something like, I'm not going to birth my own child because the industry might forget about me, and then you don't pause, cue swelling music, oh my God, I'm a monster, what have I become? And then you change your mind and quit acting forever, you're a ghoul.
Yeah.
Ghoul.
Then we also have the case of the fashion designer Peter Dundas and his partner Evangelo Bouzis, I believe.
I tried to pronounce it. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, they were in an interview with The Times back in March talking about their surrogacy experience. They said about finding their ideal egg donor, that's who you're really having a baby with. That's the genes. So we were super picky. Our casting went on for a year.
Hollywood celebrities, they're just like us.
And it's like
I complain about that all the time. I said there's nothing creepier
they also
than
mentioned
the
that
things that say they're just like us.
Yeah, they're just like us.
They go and get donuts. They go and get coffee.
Yeah, and then they take the donuts and coffee to
their surrogacy
Yeah.
They go bring their eugenics children donuts and coffee.
Psychos. Jeez.
They also mentioned that Kim offered to give them her surrogate, as a reference. It's I said they mentioned it in the same casual tone one would use discussing recommendations of dentists or hairdressers.
Right, exactly.
It's so creepy.
Go throw a baby in that used up body.
So
ghoulish.
They're
ghoulish.
I finally found another podcast I can chant on.
Yes.
That's how I know we're gonna be
Chanting.
friends, by the way. I'm like, this is my favorite thing to do is chant. It's the pro wrestling fan in me. I'll always chant.
Oh God, we were meant to have him on this show.
Oh, my bud.
I love
I
this.
just trained with Dustin Rhodes, and I did my first wrestling match. Yeah, we have so much to talk about.
Cody Rhodes is back in the
Dude,
WWE.
Cody is crushing it. Crushing it.
Did like a whole pay-per-view with a torn pec.
It was incredible.
It was crazy.
I love watching this bromance.
It was incredible. By the way, welcome to like all of my stand-up shows where whenever I like talk about sex and dating, all these gorgeous girls, they're cheering and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. And then after the show, it's only they all walk by me and they're like, good show, and then it's their boyfriends who want to talk about, oh, how long you think CM Punk's gonna be out for? And I'm like, come on, I don't want to talk to you. But
man, that Tony Khan is kind of nuts, huh?
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All right, continue. Ghoulish.
Yeah. Basically, my take on this is that if you're postponing pregnancy or just swearing it off altogether to appease the industry, the entertainment industry, you're adapting to a culture that is inherently
It's a bad
backwards,
industry.
and you're enabling how they blacklist people for prioritizing personal duties, like
100%.
growing a family.
And
Thank you.
Here's something else. You don't have to have kids, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people listening to this who have chose to be childless. You know, like I was in a rough marriage when I probably was the age where I would have had a kid. And I think about it now where it's like, I would want to have kids for sure. And, you know, there was a long time I didn't even think I would be a good dad because people get stigmatized if you don't have kids. So I guess, I'm just a screw up artist, whatever. And then I started volunteering and teaching kids jiu-jitsu, and all these parents were like, why don't you have kids? My kids love you. And I was like, damn it. I would be a great dad. And I think about it. But then I go, you know what? I've thought about this. If I'm going to be a touring stand-up comedian, if I'm not with a partner who I know this is the love of my life, this is who I'm staying with, if I'm going to be traveling all over the place, I would rather focus on that, then get successful enough where maybe I do a charity for children. Maybe I teach, I have this dream to set up something where I can teach jiu-jitsu to kids with like depression or anxiety or whatever. And then I still get to give back. But this idea that you're so self-centered that it's like, no, it has to be my genes and it has to come from us doing it. And like, it's like, bro, if you are going to donate yourself out because you care more about acting, you're allowed to care more about acting. But then don't have a kid and ruin this little spite baby's life. And instead instead just do something good, donate money to children's charities or something like that.
We've talked about this before, where like a lot of Hollywood, it's the they get angry in their older years. They're like, I worked all through my 20s, and then they don't realize that by not settling down or having a family, then they're depressed. So now they want to be able to have their cake and eat it too, without taking any of the side effects that come from actually giving birth. And you talked about how it is emotionally damaging to not. Jamie Chung mentions postpartum depression, and I asked you, I'm like, how can you have postpartum depression if you didn't actually give birth?
No, she's still, even after doing all that, now she's like, I still have it.
She's like,
she's
3 years
saying
later.
that even though someone else gave birth to her children, she is experiencing postpartum depression. And so-called experts say that you can experience postpartum depression 3 years out from giving birth.
I love how no one interviewed the poor woman who actually birthed this child, who is probably like, if anything, I would have postpartum depression knowing I gave my child to a ghoul. Because
everyone is just ignoring the fact that pregnancy is when you first bond with your child.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so none of those chemicals that come from the actual
and just the biological benefits that you get. Like,
no, this lady's just sad because she's a bad person, and she's like, it's probably postpartum.
Right. You're gonna be depressed 3 years after you have your kids and call it postpartum depression. Like, you're just depressed because your situation is
because you're a monster.
Inherently
ghoulish.
Like,
a lot of them ghoulish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these people also think of children as products, as props, etc. Like accessories to their public outings.
It's like when Eddie Guerrero tried to take Rey Mysterio Jr.'s son away from him. Am I right, fella?
It was a very, very sad situation. That match could have been bad. It was,
sorry.
And now Dominic is wrestling anyways.
No, right.
So anything.
Who knows if he's just acting out from the childhood trauma? We don't know, everybody. But we're here to find out.
And they wrestled with Jake Paul, or was it Logan Paul? Logan Paul at WrestleMania this year.
Jake Paul is the one who went off on.
They did.
I don't watch much wrestling these days, but I still faithfully listen to many wrestling podcasts. That's where I get most of my information. Most of the show is actually so bad it's unwatchable.
No,
but
the AEW pay-per-views are solid, but they're so long.
They're very long.
And then I'll watch like the matches that I hear are good.
When I saw CM Punk come on TV with like a pro-life or like a pro-choice T-shirt, I was like, I'm out. I can't do this shit.
Yeah, I assumed a lot of my friends weren't going to be psyched about that.
Yeah, well, I was like, just keep it off the show, dude. Right. Like you can be weird and have your weird views and be weird to people on Twitter, but Tony Khan's weird, so it makes perfect sense.
It does.
We're getting off topic again.
That was my fault.
Later, somebody will be like, do you believe you could somehow weave pro wrestling into a conversation about surrogacy and and the problems with raising a family that you did not give birth to? Watch them try to do that.
We did it, baby.
Episode of Pop Culture Crisis.
Cue the Lost music.
Yes.
I don't mean to steer this conversation into being like callous to people who don't know how to balance their careers and like their desire to have a family.
An actual one this time.
Thank you for real crisis
we
party.
Actually, you have to reach a certain. So there it is.
Yay.
You get more money. More money.
Yay.
Why are the guns weirdly aggressive today?
They are.
They're like angry.
It does feel like they're mad at Jamie.
Yeah.
They're like going extra hard.
Well, that's because my people run the banks.
Yeah.
So they're it's just firing. Good morning.
This is getting too real.
That is a spicy take right there. That is a very spicy take. Holy
I can
crap.
make those jokes because of my last name. I can make Hawaiian jokes and Jew jokes, or the things I am. No, I don't think you're being callous at all. And that was actually one of the reasons that I kind of told my like personal thing about not having kids, because it's like it would be callous if you were going after someone for not being able to have kids, or if you were going after, but like, no, man, it is a big responsibility and you shouldn't use kids. And I think you're thinking about the kids, and it's like, and the way the surrogates are being treated, and I actually think it's a compassionate. I've never even heard this story. I don't think it's callous at all.
I just see these elites thinking of middle class women as their cattle and incubators.
100%.
Just products
just think
that they
of
can buy.
When they go to the Met Gala and all the celebrities are maskless and all the poor employees are stuck with their masks on.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, super chats.
Yes. Unavailable ID name says, we need a watch party for Mary's moviecation. We have been in talks about doing some kind of watch party. We don't know how we're going to arrange that.
We would have to do it probably on the website because of copyright
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
Okay, maybe somebody can. I've had this mentioned to me several times, and I've never been able to confirm whether this is true. If you watch Amazon Prime stuff on Twitch, you can do that as a watch party and like a comment, as like a review thing, because Twitch is owned by Amazon.
Oh.
Or I don't know if that's 100% true. Somebody told me.
Yeah.
It seems like one of those things that you have that friend who just says stuff with a lot of
No,
confidence.
it's true.
and then like, you never
Yeah.
know if they're actually telling you the truth or not. They're like, deer are
Yeah, and you're like, I don't even know if Amazon is owned by. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, humans can give birth to deer. Yeah, no. Didn't you ever hear this story
You're
about?
like, oh well, I mean, I don't want to sound stupid and disagrame with him.
He sounds like he knows what he's talking
He's
about.
very loud.
That's all the time when you're talking, Brad. I just listen and believe.
Yeah. I'm a believer.
I listen and believe. To me,
Yeah.
that is so.
It's a dangerous place.
That's a very dangerous
be
place
in,
to
yeah.
be, given that we're in the year 2022 and Amber Heard just lost that whole trial. We don't know where things could go from here.
Clint Torres said, ooh, love violence set to great music, such as in Atomic Blonde when a guy gets beaten to death with a boombox to 99 Red Balloons.
Perfect.
This is a great example.
Now the real question is it the Goldfinger version or the other version, like the punk, the American version?
I forgot. I remember I was disappointed by that movie, but liked that scene.
All right.
Z Torrance said, Jamie, I'm right there with you, man. Turn the break up into a breakthrough, my guy.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. No, thank you. And that is actually what I've been doing. Like, when you get out of a relationship and a month later it's the most successful you've been in 10 years, you have to go, okay, that probably wasn't the healthiest relationship then. Like, that's actually what happened.
Then they get annoyed that you're doing well.
Oh, she tried to get back with me.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Don't fall for that trap.
I can't. I
Another-
was so like thrown out to no.
Another good example of I don't know if anybody's seen John Wick, but there's in the first John Wick there's a song called "Think" by Kaleida, and it's like it hits this really like funny like high note right when he just jabs a knife under this dude's gullet.
Oh yeah, in the
it's
like
great.
in the bathroom scene,
Yeah,
in the bathhouse.
I was like, if you believed Hollywood, literally every other business is a Russian bathhouse. What's up with that? Like, I've been to New York plenty of times. I've never been invited to a Russian bathhouse.
Side note, one of my favorite martial arts movies that is very underrated is Showdown in Little Tokyo with Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, and Dolph Lundgren, and they're mismatched cops where he's like the bad boy and Dolph's the very like straight-laced. Tia Carrera gets naked in it.
Oh, that's amazing. Let's go watch Wayne's World when we're done here.
At one point, right before I will not say the word, but Dolph and Tia Carrera hook up. Brandon Lee sees them. Then ninjas attack the house, and Brandon Lee looks at Dolph before they go out to fight ninjas and goes, "Hey, champ, I just want you to know if we die, you have the biggest D word I've ever seen."
Oh
on a
my
man."
God.
And then they go out and kill ninjas. It is the best. Anyway,
This can't be real. I have to see this now.
It's the best. That should be our first martial arts movie watch party.
Oh my God.
And there is a fight in a bathhouse where they're essentially just fighting Chinese mob, all wearing like the little like sarongs in a bathhouse.
Incredible.
And they kill. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a big sumo wrestler guy, and the way he kills him is he puts the hose in his mouth, and then he blows up. It's the best. Showdown in Little
Dude,
Tokyo,
we
everybody.
have to watch this. Dolph Lundgren's great. You know, he's like a chemical engineer.
No.
He got like a.
Is this an example of you saying something with confidence that I'm believing?
Look it up. Go look up.
No, I believe
on
you.
Wikipedia. I don't know if it's a chemical engineer. He's got like a degree in engineering, like in mechanical engineering or
Wild.
something like that, and just decided to become an actor instead because he's got a big brain.
That rules.
If he dies, he dies.
I love it.
Clint Torres said, I thought Mary said Merkin rather than Birkin. I spit some of my whiskey out.
Yep.
I like that you're drinking whiskey at.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's what this show is. Like, some people, like, we have very loyal fans who are like, look, it's not always easy, but sometimes you just gotta have a glass of whiskey to get through the show.
When I do when I do Tim's podcast, I drink some of the good whiskey, and
There's a lot of it.
Yep, and I was sort of like, do I do this now for this one? But I'm glad. I'm just jacked on coffee right now, screaming about Showdown in Little Tokyo.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, Mary inviting Jamie on the show, thus facilitating the geek out sesh between him and Brett about TV show music scores, has earned her some money for her baking fund.
Yes.
Also, Jamie needs another crisis party.
I think that came
Let's
in
make it
before
happen.
the crisis party happened. So technically,
Let's do another
yeah.
one.
Do another one.
Yes.
Mary definitely gets props for this.
St. Miles said, Monster Mom.
I don't know what that means.
Just that
like they're monsters?
Some
they're
of these
ghouls?
women are
monsters.
monsters.
Yes, ghoulish moms
Yeah.
is what they are. Mom ghouls.
Why can none of my friends set me up with like a girl who's not a monster, but all of them can set me up with just like nerdy dudes I'm gonna be friends with?
Weird how that works, right?
Yeah, I get
Oops.
it. No. I love it. I'll still take it.
Free market wins every time. It's the problem.
It's the invisible hand.
The Tuttle twins would have something to say about this.
Oh my god.
Sosi Havid said, when a culture loses its grip on family, faith, and relationships and loyalty, then perversion
Thank
and ghoulish
you.
behavior is always expected and natural.
That was actually
agree.
a quote from Showdown in Little Tokyo.
I'm like, I have to
wouldn't
find
expect
out
it, but it's true.
It's just in there in the middle of nowhere.
if it's on streaming. I am like after work, we might be late tomorrow because I should be upstairs like editing
No,
the show.
we should save it so we can watch it
And
together,
then,
buddy.
What's it called?
Showdown in Little Tokyo. I wonder what it has on Rotten Tomatoes.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
1991, Dolph Lundgren. It is available for $2.99 on Prime Video.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Well worth.
Charge
Yes.
it. It's gonna.
We
we're
will
gonna
watch
write
it on Twitch if that thing is true.
Dude, we should review it for the. We should
Yes.
just review it for do a review for the podcast.
Yes.
We can write it off.
I'm back in
We
2.
can.
I'm back in 2 weeks. I have. I have a show in Dallas. A couple at House of Comedy this week, and then I'm back. Dallas, Plano, House of Comedy, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
And you'll also shout it out at the end too.
No, I know, but I was just gonna say, I'm like, when am I back? Because please wait for me.
Okay.
Yeah, this
I will
week,
wait.
and then I'm back
we
next
will watch
week.
it.
Yeah.
We will watch it. All right.
Brett will be on the edge of his seat.
Oh,
Just waiting.
I'm so excited.
James Eaton said, Jamie, you were great. Glad you stuck around.
Oh, bud, thanks.
Clint Torres said, Clint Torres is in fact my whiskey-fueled alter ego. The women love him more, especially when his name is spoken faster.
That's what I need. I need a whiskey-fueled ego.
Or
Alter
like-
ego.
Alter ego.
Alter
coffee-fueled alter ego?
Alter ego.
Yes.
Maybe?
All
I
right.
don't know. I've just. Does that work, ladies listening? I've just been talking about pro wrestling.
And we haven't even got to Lizzo yet.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. So.
She bent the knee, if that's not too much physical activity.
Oh man.
I thought about a joke, and I was like, "That's 2," and then you did a better,
man.
meaner version of it.
I was gonna leave it
Wow.
alone, but dang.
No,
okay,
we let
Lizzo.
Mary do it because she's sweet or like looking, and then we don't get in trouble.
Yes.
I'm innocent. I can't be blamed.
Every time we snap and point to you, just like hit a mean Lizzo joke.
Yeah.
Okay, Lizzo apologizes after she was called out for using ableist slur in her new song. You might ask what that slur was. It was every bass.
I mean, it was
Are
a
we
hard
even
R.
allowed to say it on YouTube?
There was a hard Z in spaz.
Yeah.
And the problem, I don't know.
No, because it's
All I know-
not real. We can't say the other one. We can't say the R one.
No.
But
All I know is that every baseball team or sports team in Midwestern America had at least one kid with this nickname growing up. And that
my
it
best
was
friend.
you.
it might have been me. It was not me.
My
but,
best friend was nicknamed Spaz, and he would come over and he would rip open the potato chips, and my dad would come home, and there would be potato chips all over the house, and he'd just go, "Oh, Spaz is here," and it'd be so mad, and he would just be like, "Nicholas," and scream for him, and then they would like kick him out of the house, and yeah, that's what he was. I heard I heard in the UK, that word is subbed out for the R word here, but it's not here.
No.
Like spaz is just like, oh, you're just like there are times where I'm like, oh, I'm being a spaz.
Yes.
Like right now, I'm being a spaz on this show.
And it's okay.
Yeah,
fine.
that's
It's
fine. We're all
not-
friends. They're shooting money at me.
The problem here is not that she it's not that she said it. It's that she bent the knee.
Yeah.
Okay, so they give a couple of examples here. So it says basically the single is the latest to drop from the artist's upcoming album Special. Is that a problem?
Oh,
Is
no.
that a problem?
Oh, no, that's
Is
so
Special-
funny. I didn't know that
Uh-oh.
was.
It is already causing quite a stir. In her song, the singer includes lyrics which contain the word spaz. They even
It
use
says,
the
"I'm
word.
a spaz. I'm about to knock somebody out."
So that's okay.
All right.
You can glorify violence. That's fine. You just can't use language. And guys, the reason that that this lady is angry about this is because she has a condition called cerebral palsy, and that includes spastic movements that are very painful, I guess.
Hold on.
But here's the problem. That's not what she meant here.
Listen, I'm going to try to say this without getting in trouble and without being problematic. When I think of a person with a mentally handicapped, when I think of that person, the first thing I think of is not man, that person's gonna knock someone out. Like, I don't look at them and go, that dude's starting fights right now. Like, it is clearly she is not talking about.
Context matters.
Of course it does.
Context
of course
matters.
it does.
No, that's crazy.
Don't say crazy.
You can't say no.
That actually is, like, they say it's ableist.
I did a bad word too.
Yeah.
I was listening to a song earlier, an Eminem song called "Dirty Psycho" that just came out. Is that problematic? You can't.
You're not allowed to say psycho, so
you can't say. And that would insinuate.
How do you describe women then? Hey,
Oh!
hey, follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
Ow, sick burn. The singer-songwriter who widely champions the body positivity movement. I have no idea what that is relevant to in this song. In many of her songs,
to all of her songs.
Received backlash from fans from the disability community. Are they equating body positivity to disability? That sounds like what this article is doing here.
Ooh.
I don't know.
That's creepy. Who expressed their disappointment with the tone-deaf lyric. One writer and disability advocate, Hannah Divany, called out the singer, wishing for her when you get to the bottom of this, you're gonna want to. If you guys have a monitor, be careful. You will want to throw it at something.
Boy.
So it says, "Hey Lizzo, my disability, cerebral palsy, is literally classified as spastic dysplasia, where spasticity refers to unending painful tightness in my legs. Your new song makes me pretty angry plus sad. Spaz doesn't mean freaked out or crazy. It's an ableist slur. It means freaked out or crazy."
Yo, side note, if any rappers are listening and you can get spastic dysplasia in a rhyme, that would be fire. Fire.
I just realized, like, I've heard so many rap songs that say spaz out, like, all the time. So I think they're just coming for Lizzo.
Eminem's still dropping hard F-bombs on, I think,
all
like
the time.
2.
This isn't done. She finishes with, "It's 2022. Do better."
Ew.
How many years has it been since people started saying that?
Oh, do better.
Ew.
At least, I mean, she managed to leave problematic out of it, so that's impressive. She's one step away from moving on to not talk. I hate people that talk like they're on Twitter all the time. Like, I guarantee you this person talks like this in the real world, too. They don't talk like real people.
Hashtag canceled.
Yes. And it says, and then down here, to her credit, Lizzo bent the knee and isn't complaining, I guess. They're like, she's forgiven. There's an article from, like, the Washington Post here that says, like, Lizzo offended fans. She changed it, and they forgave. No, they didn't. Because the next time she does something that they don't like, they're going to just, again, call for her to change it. And now she will be at the mercy of everything she does to people who have the smallest complaint.
Yeah.
And when she doesn't change it next time, they'll say, well, you changed it before. Why wouldn't you change it now? Do you care more about...
Because you set the precedent that they can dictate what you put in your art.
Exactly. Also, there's this really funny take from people saying that it's about race.
I have this apology she posted... it like sent me, like, I have no idea what any of this PR speak means.
That's the problem with Twitter's everyone speaks as if what their stuff they're saying is coming from a PR manager now.
Right.
I just wonder how many people were involved in writing this Notes app apology. It's been brought to my attention that there is a harmful word in my new song, Girls. Let me make one thing clear. I never want to promote derogatory language. As a fat black woman in America, I've had many hurtful words used against me, so I overstand the power words.
I'm assuming she means understand the power
but
of
why
words.
overstand?
I think try to be poetic, like, trust me, I get it, girl.
I overstand the power words can have, whether intentionally or, in my case, unintentionally. I'm proud to say there's a new version of Girls with a lyric change. This is the result of me listening and taking action. As an influential artist, I'm dedicated to being part of the change I've been waiting to see in the world.
What if she changed it to a hard R word?
That we have it here. We have what she changed it to. She made where is it? I had it pulled up here in one of these articles where she talks about what she actually changed the words.
It would have been funnier if it was worse.
She makes it worse.
Yeah.
I'm working down here. Do you see it anywhere?
It's C word, R word, F word.
That
like,
would be
what?
She's but she changed it and she made it something less crazy.
Here's the thing. Let me as an artist, as a performer, and as a fat black woman, I would like to say that when you're writing comedy, so I also have like a music project, and I got to open for Talib Kweli, who's one of the best rappers in the world. I love hip hop. And we were talking backstage, and like a lot of hip hop, when you actually look at it, it's very similar, especially in like rap battle days. I talk about this on my podcast tomorrow. It's set up punchline when you watch the rap battles. This guy's blah, 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 blah. He blah, 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 blah. And a lot of the verses that aren't even battles, it's punchlines. Like, how can I get the biggest hit? There's something, especially about hip hop, it is very percussive, right? And a lot of times, and comedy is the same way. It's very percussive. I've never used an incredibly offensive word describing those people. I've never used something I've used a homophobic word to describe a homophobe before. Always gets laughs. I'll use them out of context in weird ways, and it's mainly, and same with hip hop. It's to get a surprise. It's to get a reaction. It's to get the audience to go, huh. And especially if you start getting those like the way, if you just look at like consonants, like the way like certain words hit stronger than other words. Yeah. So when you're writing hip hop, when you're writing stand up, you're not going, who can I offend? Who can I make mad? You're literally going like, man, what's going to hit the audience like this? And so Lizzo not only, like you were saying, well, she screwed over the next time she says something problematic. She also kind of screwed herself over as an artist, because now she has empowered the inner critic, which I've fallen victim to. When I was scared of Twitter, I'd be like, oh, I hope this conservative doesn't get mad when I say this political take, or I hope this liberal doesn't take it this way. And I'm literally thinking about the worst people in the world, who are anonymous people who don't know who I am as a person, who aren't my audience, who will never be on my Patreon, who will never support me. What are they going to think? And she has enabled
this person's
that inner critic now.
Yeah, this person's literally describes herself as a disability advocate, which can be a great thing, but
that kind of just means you're looking for people to yell at.
Somebody to yell at so that you can control their language. I would love to know how this helps people with her condition.
Yeah, do something cool for disabled people. Why don't you spend your time doing that if you're an advocate?
And it's because they can only do something negative that tears something down.
They do not
building anybody up.
One of my biggest problems is like one of the reasons that I don't take a lot of comments seriously is like, look, there are certain personality types. Some people build and some people create. Yep. Other people are more inherently drawn to,
they want to take it down.
To taking it down.
Crabs on the bucket, man.
That's fine. That's your thing. That's not my thing. I've never been that way because I'm too like I don't know if the term is
spazzy.
Perfect. I got you. I don't have it in me to like be that negative all the time.
It's horrible. And the people who do it, if you're listening to the show, and we all know people who do it, it's a bum. I mean, obviously I don't like getting negative comments, but there's also a moment where I see stuff and I just go, man, I hope you're doing okay. Because I will tell you, the second I stopped lashing out at people, and the second I was just like, how can I just be a better person? How can I make myself happier? How can I, man, does my life get better? Yeah. And now I can't even be around negative people. Yep. Like I just don't, and we should strive. Look, we all like to gossip. We all like to trash talk. We're doing it here on the show, right?
I have a hard time finding that line here. Like wanting it.
It's tricky as a comic.
Like to not, to still talk about this stuff, but not make it something that literally, because there's days where I'm like, I feel ghoulish because of the stuff that we talk about hits me at certain times, but I still want to find a way to have a fairly decent or intellectual conversation about this stuff.
You can always.
You have to find a way.
I don't feel like we're violating boundaries when we're talking about public people doing things publicly.
And we're not going to them and being like, hey, Kim Kardashian, I think you're ghoulish because of your surrogate. I'm not interrupting her space and enforcing my opinion on her.
We're not even adding them on Twitter. No. It's literally, and especially for our listeners, I think even with that story, there was a positive spin. Because what I like about this show is we're also talking about what we like. And if it was just a show that's like, oh, you like this movie? You're dumb. Oh, you like Lizzo? Idiot. Like, I hate that, man. You can, whenever people tell me they like music that I'm not into, I'll be like, cool, man. If it makes you happy, whatever. But you're also allowed to trash people who are being dum-dums and then talk about the things you like.
And then people here make it weirdly about race and colorism, where they say it's because Lizzo's a darker color skin than Cardi B. I'm not kidding.
What does that have to do with anything?
It says, however, many are defending Lizzo and pointing out that other songs that have used ableist terms, including her collaborator, she collaborated with Cardi B.
Uh-oh.
That makes her hatred adjacent.
Yep.
Cardi
that would be a good name for a rap album. Hatred adjacent. Oh.
Tell Talib Kweli to he has a song with Morchiba called "Let Me See." That's one of my favorite songs of all time. It's a great song.
I don't think he would like me anymore.
I don't.
Man, I had fun at his concert.
That's a whole nother.
I think that bridge is probably done.
A lot of that. It's like maybe you could pull Mos Def back from the brink, but I don't know if. Yeah. I mean, I think that was always there in that music, but it's just worse now.
The people I opened for were bad. It was like Moby and Talib Kweli, and I was like, yeah, they're not going to be fans anymore.
Nope. So it says in the song, "Thank You, Shake It," featuring Cardi B. She raps the R word. I'm not going to say that word. It is bad.
You all know the hilarious word we're talking about, though.
Super funny.
They're really fun to say.
Which is considered highly offensive and dated.
To say.
Satisfying was very
As
fun.
one fan tweeted, "Cancel culture is weird and selective. Where was this energy when Cardi B, when she said the R word last year?" Another added, "Crazy because I was just listening to a newer Cardi song where she says the R word and no one blinked." That's because she didn't apologize.
Yeah.
Just don't apologize.
There are rappers who, I think Tekashi 6ix9ine is one of them. Maybe Lil Pump is one of them. That even like say the N-word and people don't.
Every rapper says the N-word.
Well, they say it and they're not black, and nobody calls them out because they clearly don't care. And it's sort of just a thing where like you're calling people's bluff by not apologizing.
Not to be like earnest, but that's one of the things I'm learning from just hanging out with you guys and talking to Tim and stuff like that. It's so if you know your motives are good. Right? Yeah. And you're being authentic, you don't need to care what people think. And, you know deep down, when you're being mean, when you're being a bigot, when you're whatever, you know it. When you're just trying to make your friends laugh and you're goofing around and you're, using words or whatever. And, I spent my whole life apologizing, and it shouldn't be about other people. Even if Lizzo, best case scenario, let's say let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's say she apologized because she literally just goes, "Oh my God, like I didn't know it meant that." Let's say she has a special needs cousin and she thinks of him and it brings a tear to her eye and she goes, "I got to change that." It still would have been a smarter move to not apologize. Do whatever you want at the concert, right? And then just be like, "I'm not going to use that word anymore."
Never apologize to a group. You can apologize to individuals. Apologizing to groups is a recipe for insincerity.
Yeah.
It does not.
They want you to not be able to trust yourself, your own intentions.
That's what I was talking about with that voice. Yeah, 100%.
They're trying to replace your conscience with the voice of the masses.
Which, that is antithetical to being an artist.
Yep. So it says there are a lot of songs that use the exact same word, but because it's Lizzo, a stunning, talented black woman, it's an issue. Meanwhile, lighter-skinned artists get a pass. Stop with the selective outrage. Y'all did the same thing. Y'all also did the same thing to Kanye on 4 or 5 seconds. They've got 3 Ukrainian flags in their Twitter bio. So
that's a lot of them.
That's a lot.
I guess that means you're 3 times a good person.
So much Ukraine. 4 or 5 seconds is a great song. Oh, that's another song I wanted to write. I had a script where there was a fight scene to that song. I also think. But I saw Ray, and I hate bringing up the race stuff, but I don't think it's in this article. I saw someone bring up race in a different context where they were applauding Lizzo for her apology, saying that, see, this is what happens when you call a black woman out. She actually apologizes, where if this is a white person, they wouldn't have apologized, or it would have been a non-apology apology.
Everyone would apologize now because they're terrified.
Because they're terrified.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrified.
No matter what race you are, we're all scared.
Everyone's like there is, whether you want to admit it or not, nobody in the entertainment industry is actually happy. They're terrified.
Yes.
24/7.
Oh, and by the way, when I talk to people behind the scenes, when I talk to people who have canceled me, they go, "Hey, by the way, I don't think you did anything wrong, and I think this is dumb, but you know how it goes." And I'm like, I don't know how it goes.
No.
Why don't you be the brave person that does it? My favorite thing that they'll say to me, I got canceled for having an affair. I was a big feminist guy. You can listen to me on Tim's show. We don't need to get into it. But for the context of this joke, it's worth it. The new thing, I've had 3 industry people tell me this, like guys. They're like, "Hey, man, I don't want to do this, but, I don't think what you did is bad." And they all in the exact same tone, they pause, and they go, "And, my wife read about what happened to you. She thinks it's messed up, too. So,
No.
you got her support." And I'm like,
What?
"Thanks, buddy. Can she put me back on the song I was supposed to do with this famous band?"
That does not pay my bills.
Tell your wife.
It's not even about like whether what you did is wrong. It's about whether you're a person and people do things that are either right or wrong.
Well, and this is also the problem with cancel culture. It's like you want people to get better, and by saying you're done if you have one problematic tweet, you're done, I'm done with you if you use a word I don't like, you're done if you have an affair. It's like, well, what's the incentive to get better? There's not. You know, if you actually cared about these words, you would actually just do stuff to promote, like we were talking about before, positivity instead of just, I'm going to take everyone down. It's like, no, you're just vindictive.
Also, they don't forget. They hold it over you forever, which is another reason why you don't apologize.
Yeah, you're right.
There are some super chats.
Yes. Clint Torres said, Mary, sick Lizzo burn.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I just had to have my moment there.
It was pretty great.
He also says,
satisfying was still the funniest thing you said, by the way.
He also says, overstand.
Did Joe Biden say that? Because Joe Biden used it on Kimmel. I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel because I like to have my sanity.
I also only speak one language, so I never know what Joe Biden's saying.
That also was not a sentence I expected to hear.
I don't speak Joe Bidenese.
Yeah, on this podcast. Didn't you guys watch Joe Biden on Jimmy Kimmel? It's like, oh, well, clearly we're such fans of both of them.
Scratch and Slice said, smile more. It's a beautiful day. It's really not a beautiful day if you went outside. But, the vibes have been off all day, actually.
They have improved since we started the show, which
They're
is
improving.
a positive sign.
We're doing it.
Nathan Koss said...
it's literally raining outside. It's beautiful outside.
No,
it's not.
Nathan Koss said, the Lizzo controversy just sounds like another fake outrage campaign to get people to talk about her new music.
That could be.
I
mean, we've talked about it at
We
length.
always are like, what's real anymore?
At length, we talk here about how it's become a marketing tool.
Oh, especially when the apology comes out so fast and stuff like that. If someone's just like, hey, let's get ahead of this.
Also, people accepted the apology, and that is suspicious.
That is suspicious. When I saw that, I was like, ooh.
I was like, I don't know if I believe that.
But again, not to make it about race, because I'm not one of those people. Although I guess maybe I am now. If it was a white guy, would they have apologized? Would they have accepted it that quickly? I don't know. Right? But like Lizzo was someone they cheer on for so many different reasons. But again, we should be accepting apologies.
Yep.
That's a good thing. But we shouldn't be apologizing to the mob. Anyway.
It's a very fine line to walk.
Yeah.
Sure is.
All right, Podluck. We're going to start with Britney Spears. We're going to start with Britney Spears.
Let's do it.
All right, so believe it or not, Mary doesn't trust Britney Spears' new husband. Go figure.
He weirds me out. Okay.
So I don't know much.
His name is Sam Asghari.
Yeah, please tell me.
An Iranian-born actor, model type dude.
Ooh,
Nobody
I just saw
knows
his
who he
face. I don't
is.
trust him either.
Nobody
Too
knows
good-looking.
who this guy is.
Too good looking.
Too good looking.
He's also 27 and she is 40. And look, age gaps happen. Like, I get it.
Hannah
but
Claire
that's
literally
not
has, like, a thing
exactly
where she's-
ordinary.
Although I will say, the last girl I broke up who kind of left me in a ditch, when I tell people the story, they just go, man, she sounds crazy. I can't believe that. I'm so sorry what happened to you. And then they're like, hey, wait a second. How old is she? And I go, 27. They go, you idiot. It's your fault. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry.
Should have thought. So now when this happens, Brittany will have to be like, it's your fault, Brittany. You married a 27-year-old. That
Specifically because he's 27.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, it says that there is an ironclad prenup in place. He doesn't get a dime if this falls through.
All right. Maybe she has the same sense you do, Mayor.
I was surprised at how low her estimated net worth is.
What is it?
It's like 65 million. It
That
should
is
be
very low.
higher considering how long she has been performing.
And those
Yeah,
numbers.
the residuals.
But then because her father and her sister were responsible for her losing so much, so many of her opportunities and so much of her money, and then she was in these Las Vegas residencies that she
made
didn't want
hundreds
to
of
be
millions. Like
Yeah,
those
those
make
are-
tons
those
of
in. Yeah, and
money.
they were
are so
living off
important.
of her work, making her work while it's under the pretense that she's not fit to
work. Yes.
It's just insane. But I just don't trust this guy because I'm sure there are other ways that he can siphon her wealth.
Yeah.
And
How long have they been together?
Couple years.
It's only been a couple years, but yeah, they just got married the other day.
Oh, he made a joke that was funny, although I'd have to hear his delivery to see if it was funny or creepy. The article said he joked that he was the one who wanted a prenup to protect his Jeep and shoes.
There
kinda
you
funny.
go. That's good.
He might be a good guy. You never know.
I mean, it would be nice if Britney caught a win, right?
I would like
yeah.
for Britney
Give
to
her a
win.
W.
But also, I found it weird that like her children weren't at the wedding,
wedding, yeah.
and
Ooh.
they said it was because they didn't want to steal her spotlight,
which
or
makes
something.
no sense.
That's a weird thing to say.
But who was at the wedding? Madonna, Paris Hilton, and Selena Gomez.
We talked about how
others,
Paris Hilton ditched Joe Biden.
Yeah, that
for,
ruled.
For
I saw
Britney
that.
Spears.
Yeah.
Hoes before bros.
True enough.
That
Shower
ruled.
depression.
Yeah.
I just thought that was suspicious, like questionable at least.
Also,
although I didn't go to my dad's wedding when he married my stepmom, because I was like, I hate you, this is a betrayal, and she's like the most wonderful woman in the world. And I was like, I was just an idiot 16-year-old. Like,
yeah, I understand. Like, there could be misunderstandings like that going on that we have no idea.
Also,
about.
remember, Hollywood kids are as crazy as the Hollywood people.
In the first place, I don't think a 27-year-old male model is dating a 40-year-old woman who is kind of mentally unstable for good reasons.
Hey, she may be old, but at least she's crazy.
I mean, it's just like hard to believe that's genuine.
That's a solid point,
and
dude.
she's like spinning around in her house with no clothes on and with like
really
eyeliner
bad
smudged
pictures.
around her eyes.
My biggest
posting nudes on Instagram.
Yeah.
And my biggest complaint is the pictures always look like they're taken on like a really old phone.
Yeah.
Like I was like, at least get a good camera to take your
I just don't
nudes.
think that's like normal.
Don't
behavior.
take the nudes and then play Snake on the same phone.
Yeah.
Like we had the whole Free Britney thing, and now we're realizing like the consequences of freeing someone who hasn't been free for 13 years. She doesn't know how to handle it.
Britney Spears, this is like the microcosm of the prison reform. We're like, let them all out. And it's like, oh no, we didn't teach them how to function in society.
She immediately gets married. She's like pregnant with this guy's kid, and then has a miscarriage, obviously because she's like under extreme stress.
I mean, I think it's like the Kanye
like,
thing
older.
where you see this and no one goes, hey, I think they need mental health help.
Well,
like,
they just make fun of Kanye.
Right.
Why are the only two options like legal slavery or
impregnation?
Completely like free reign.
Yeah.
It's kind of a problem of
how about we
having
get
that
it
much
with
money.
the therapist?
It's kind of like a problem of having that much money too. Like you can literally just get into less trouble when you're broke.
Yeah, well, and people don't realize what it's like to be around these like scumbag yes men. Like I remember I did a show with Andy Dick, who I believe was arrested again recently.
Just recently, for like exposing himself on a live stream or something.
And
like,
he, when he was sober, when I met him, and he was a sweetheart. And I can't speak, obviously, to allegations. One night we hung out, and we texted a couple times. And he was so nice. And I said, we were at dinner with another like friend of mine, and that's how we met. And I said, I'm going to a stand-up show. And he goes, hey, can I come with you? And I was like, sure. And we're driving in the car. And we start talking about depression. And I tell him that Robin Williams was one of my best friends. And Robin helped me with my depression, which is like really weird when the dude who helps you with your depression like kills himself. And then he told me, which was really cool and sad seeing what happened. But Chris Farley, before Chris Farley died, helped him. And Chris Farley actually gave Andy Dick the big book, which is like the book of AA, like Alcoholics Anonymous. And so he had Chris Farley's book because he wanted him to get help. And so I'm like, man, this dude's so misunderstood. What an amazing guy, blah, blah, blah. The second we get to this comedy club, and this was like a C-rate garbage LA comedy club, all of these horrible comics, these Instagram influencer girls, these comics who are nobody, all of them are running to Andy Dick, offering him drugs, offering him alcohol, all this stuff, because they don't care about him as a person. They want their I got wasted with Andy Dick story. They want their I did cocaine with Andy Dick story so they can tell it, later on, and they don't care about this guy. So I think people don't understand that this like bubble in Hollywood, the yes man, she has been surrounded for decades, by these people that will just either enable bad behavior, will lock her up, will say yes when she's being erratic and crazy, will do whatever. And like that is gonna, and also artists, we're already unstable when we get into it, let alone then you get famous, let alone she got famous so young. It's like, man, she's been, her whole life just been taken advantage.
She seems quite obviously frozen in time at a younger age than she is.
That's a great point. Yeah, 100%.
And is like just not ready for the steps in life that she's taking right now. I'm glad that she has a solid prenup that protects some of her wealth at
that
least.
Mickey Mouse Club, man, it messes people
Take
up.
what you can get.
People up. I don't know how. What's Timberlake
Justin
gonna do?
Timberlake seems fine.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
he just does shrooms in the woods with his wife.
That's the move.
Like, and then made an album about it.
That's gonna be me and Ian
That's
in a couple
cool.
of months.
Yeah, he's fine. Timberlake seems like he's all right.
Timberlake's solid.
All right, I want to mention this real quick because everyone, I've been complaining about Reva on Obi-Wan Kenobi because that character is awful.
Sure.
And I said that they need to replace her with the lady who played Kayla in Jurassic World Dominion, which is an actress named
DeWanda Wise.
DeWanda Wise, which is a great name. That's like I keep wanting to say Wanda DeWise, but it's DeWanda Wise. Yeah,
that's cool.
And she is fantastic. And now they're talking about how she could have a spin-off from the Jurassic World franchise. Do we need more Jurassic World movies? No. But would I watch a movie about a really awesome chick who works in the black market of the dinosaur trade?
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
As much as I like the character.
Nope, you're wrong.
Please
Let's
stop.
go. No, you're wrong. You're
stop
wrong. Let's
with the
go.
spin-offs and the reboots and the sequels.
Just call
Can
it.
we have something else.
You don't have to put Jurassic World in the name. Just call it
But
Dinosaur
you do.
Black Market.
Then just make a story.
Make a story
of
called
its
Dinosaur
own,
Black
you
Market.
know?
I will. I will write the script for Dinosaur
Dinosaur
Black
also
Market.
spent-
Oh, we can do a table read here.
Yeah. Oh,
They spent too much time in the dinosaur black market in Dominion. They kind of spoiled it for anything else.
It's gonna be freaking awesome. She's gonna be her carrying a T-Rex around in a plane. It's gonna be freaking awesome.
I love that we're acting like this is already like confirmed.
I know.
It's happening.
And we're right.
So basically, they're saying here, it says the possibility came up when new cast member DeWanda Wise was being interviewed by Cinema Blend on the Dominion red carpet. Many new and OG Jurassic fans are loving the fearless and genuine Kayla Watts, who joined forces with Owen Grady and Claire Dearing to rescue Maisie from the villainous Biosyn genetics with the worst villain ever, played by, the guy from Royal Pains, which I loved, but he's bad in this movie. Watts is quickly becoming a fan favorite. Viewers having been waiting to hear if a Kayla-centered spin-off could carry the Jurassic World legacy forward. See, maybe they do a show, though I don't know how they could do that on a budget. But you do like a 6-episode miniseries where she's just like
so tired.
selling off.
Miniseries too.
She sells off some dinosaur eggs, and that's how she gets her plane for the first time.
I guess what I liked partly about her character in Dominion is that they didn't get into her like backstory, and they just kind of threw her in, and she still seemed like she was fleshed out.
They were
as a
leaving
character.
room for Dinosaur Black Market.
I guess they were.
In 2026.
But can she just be Reva? Like,
They should replace her. Yeah, Reva is truly like. Who is it? Andrew was mentioning the other day that he said that actress is actually really. Thank you. He said that actress is really good on a show called Queen's Gambit. I have not seen Queen's Gambit, but she was not meant for the role of Reva. I know that. So
anything with king or queen or royal in the title, I do not watch.
You're not a. Did you watch?
It's
Downton
about
Abbey?
chess, though, not the
it's
royal
about
family.
chess.
No, I don't care.
It's
I don't
about
care.
chess. Me neither.
I still don't
I'm
care.
right. I'm with you.
Yeah,
right there,
just
man.
the period pieces. I know you are, bud.
Dolph Lundgren, all the way.
Yeah,
Unless it's Dolph Lundgren playing chess while killing ninjas, I don't want it. I don't
Let
want
the
it.
women enjoy our drama.
You guys get your.
Let us have our things.
You guys get your inventing Annas and your one about creepy female, real life creepy female villains, and we get Dolph Lundgren killing ninjas.
And you get explosions and dinosaurs falling out of planes.
Yeah, Dinosaur Black Market.
Dude, we're doing it. We gotta hire someone to write the script.
I'll write the script.
All right, we are gonna finish off with. I really want to name a segment. Womp womp womp.
Womp womp.
Let's do it. You just did it. We now have a segment called Womp Womp Womp.
Kim Kardashian may have damaged Marilyn Monroe's Met Gala dress.
Womp womp womp.
Brett, are you trivializing the 1962 Marilyn Monroe gown?
I am trivializing it to such an extent.
How dare you?
Let her have her things.
You have to see
Kim
this picture.
Kardashian can get her fat ass out of Marilyn Monroe's dress. As far as I'm
I thought the reason you had a surrogate was so you could stay skinny, and you're still popping dresses.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Here's
what was the
I'm
point
saying.
of that?
Like, she was holding a fur stole behind her the whole time she was wearing this dress.
Close it.
I knew that she didn't close it.
She should have hired a surrogate to wear that
Don't
dress
even
if she couldn't handle it.
A dress surrogate.
Yeah. Just a body double.
Dude, we got deep fakes now. It's not like normal peons like us are involved in seeing this stuff anyways.
Just
deep fake her face.
What's up?
You can't just like have something custom made for yourself that looks exactly the same. You had to just go and damage a historic artifact.
Yeah.
She, you know,
it's entitlement.
I mean,
Just such
she didn't just break the internet; she broke this dress too, and that's a problem. So they show a picture here of the before and after, a bunch of what are the jewels that came off of it on there.
Yeah, and then also she was like stretching the zipper beyond its physical limits.
Well, when you got an ass like that, you know,
hell yeah,
limits are just, you know.
You're limitless.
I'm
You're
sure
limitless.
it got discolored too because she wears like makeup all over her body.
I know that she wore the hair up for that purpose, right?
Yeah, but like if she's on a red carpet, she's almost certainly going to be wearing like some kind of makeup.
Yeah, on her body,
like all over.
And then she didn't even wear it for long. She like wore it up the stairs.
It was like
and then
30
changed.
seconds maybe.
Jeez.
Talk about having money and like just like you don't need to do that. Just wear a replica.
She wore the replica after
The rest
she
of-
did
that's
the
what I'm saying.
15 seconds.
After she ruined it.
Yeah.
Just wear the replica.
Yeah,
it's
like,
fine.
And you also know about
get it.
yourself. I can't wear a white shirt when I eat. I've accepted that about myself, so I don't do it.
Amen, my friend.
can't do it.
Again, say, twins.
You both throw away white shirts too.
Dude, I haven't had to.
Oh my god.
And I look good in them.
You guys
a
are
white V-neck,
soulmates.
I look good in them.
I buy cheap. I buy Fruit of the Loom
That's what I've started
white
doing, too.
shirts, and I just throw them away after I'm done wearing them.
What have I done by getting you two in a room together?
This is either
Next
the best
week
thing
he's
you've
in her
done.
spot, and then they're just like,
No!
no. We can't, because then who would argue with people in the super chat?
Yeah.
No,
who would villainize the super chat?
I love both of you guys. I just want to come in here as I'll be your guys' third. Is that what they say
Perfect.
in the poly world?
Yeah.
I'll be your
Yes.
guys' third. Yeah, 100%.
We got this. All right, dude, thank you so much for coming today.
This ruled. I had so much fun.
Let everyone know what you got coming up so they can know where to find you in like the events.
Yeah, so most importantly, I've been having a blast building community from, now this show and Tim's show. So you can follow me on social media. I'm pretty good at responding.
Thank you.
My Twitter's at Jamie Kilstein. My Instagram, which I believe is shadow banned, but if you type in the Jamie Kilstein, it's verified. You should get it. So I make sketches. I talk about mental health there. The podcast, it's the full word, but I'll say it's called A F-Ups Guide to the Universe. We just had John Cleese on from Monty Python.
Oh, amazing.
And porn star Nicole Aniston came on to make me feel better about my breakup. So it's a really fun show, and we talk about mental health and silly stuff and politics and blah, blah, blah.
Did you talk about weed?
Did she?
I know she's a
Yes.
huge weed head.
Big on weed.
Yeah.
Big on weed, big on spirituality. I'm not a big weed guy, but yes. So that's called an F-Ups Guide to the Universe, or you can go to JamieKilsteinPodcast.com. And if you happen to be in Texas and want to see me perform live, I am headlining the House of Comedy in Plano, which is right outside of Dallas, this Thursday. Not Friday because they have these TikTok duo. But it's Thursday night, 2 shows Saturday, and a show Sunday. That's the House of Comedy, Plano, Dallas. It's not up on my website, but you can go to the House of Comedy's website and get tickets there. I'm on Patreon. But and also check out Tim's vlog. I'm writing them this week. People are really liking it. There's crazy stuff about. There's just crazy stuff. Just go check it out.
It came up in my feed today, and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
we went hard.
Perfect.
We went hard. So check that out as well.
All right, Mary, we had some super chats before we go.
Yeah. John Lee said, Jamie, I feel you, man. My stepmom ended up being an amazing person.
So
my
funny.
biological
Demonized
mom
her so
abandoned
bad.
me, and my stepmom treated me like her own.
Yep.
Aw.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep. I feel that, buddy.
Oh, and there's also Clintora's. He said, Mary's wearing the sassy pants today. I love the sassy pants. They're so comfortable. Oh, I'm not going to say that part.
Yep. I
gonna say that
was
part.
wondering where that was going, but we stand sassy
I
pants.
think you've
Mary.
had too much whiskey, Clintora's.
Well,
This is his alter ego where he gets women though, so he just went for it.
yeah, he went for it.
It's not working, Clintora.
Oh, man. See,
sorry.
sassy.
The
All right,
sassy pants.
see, sassy pants. Let everyone know where they can find
You
you.
can find me on Instagram and WeChat at Closer Kitty, and whenever I post articles on timcast.com, I promote them there.
Yes, she does.
Hell yeah.
Guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic for the show Monday through Friday right here on YouTube.com, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 Pacific. Eat a Cali burrito. Watch the show. It's beautiful. You can also listen to us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, if that's still your chosen method for taking in all of this ridiculousness. And then on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.